Maybe we're going to have
You're welcome everyone to this event. We are just going to give it a few more minutes as everyone joins in. Everyone going to join in. Let's give it like 3 minutes actually before we can start. We already have a guest speaker on the call. I would like to welcome all of you to join in, and for those who wish to join the community, I'm going to just share a link within the chat, and we will be starting in a few minutes. Yeah, thank you very much. You're welcome, everyone. We are going to start. Let's just allow everyone to join in within actually 2 minutes, and we are going to be starting off. I would like to thank everyone for joining in for today's session, and welcome to the event. Today we are going to be hosting Mr. Joseph Brendan, all the way from Nigeria, and he's going to be telling us about how to leverage the community to better the tech industry. And welcome everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Brendan, let me invite Mr. Brendan to introduce himself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I believe everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Joseph.
Okay. My name is Joseph. I'm I'm a software engineer. I'm based in Nigeria. I work out of Nigeria also, and I have been in the space for some time now. So I've been professionally developing since 2013. So, but non-professionally, that was since 2011. prior to 2011 also. So I am honored to be amongst everyone here. I am really honored for that. And when I was approached for this, I was wowed. I was like, oh, this is a nice opportunity for me to talk. And I have been really following up on what's been happening around the African tech space in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and the rest of them. And actually, I have been really impressed. And really, also, I know at least I know a very famous tech company in Uganda called Safe Border, Safe Border or Safe Border. I think they came to Lagos sometimes last year or 2 years ago. So I am glad to be in this space. And I would also say that as we proceed further in this session, if there's any questions that anyone would like to ask me about tech or about anything at all, you can feel free to ask. So I think I'll just go straight over to the business of the day. Then anyone who wants to ask any question would have to tell me their name, give me their own profile also, so that we can all know about ourselves. So community, I'll just say this as simple as it sounds. Community in tech is what brings about the opportunities in tech. Like, I'll just go like this. Yeah? If, for example, everyone in Uganda in the tech space decides to say, okay, let's form a community around JavaScript, PHP, and let's say Ruby. If those are the three strongest communities in Uganda, those three communities will be the most will be the communities with the most opportunities. Like it has been something that it has been a method that we have been using here in Abuja, even in Lagos. Actually, there was a time we were trying to build a community around Elixir, Phoenix, and Vue and Vue.js. We did that actually. So we did it for about 3 years, and the way we did it was constant meetups, WhatsApp groups, challenges, conferences, seminars, trying to make sure that for students who are leaving school and are having it in mind to go into tech, we try to grab them quickly into that stack. So when we bring them into that stack, it means we have more people doing that stack. And trust me, tech is not all about the stack or the language or whatever you do. Tech is all about solving problems. And for the fact that tech is business, it's just business. So these companies mostly are run by business guys, and they don't really care most times which stack you use. Can it solve the problem? If it can solve the problem, then fine. So since these people don't care much about the stack, it is wise for the software developers to rally around the stack that they are more comfortable with. Rally around that stack, build a community around that stack. When you build a community around that stack, make sure the stack solves the problem very well. The moment you do that, you guys will be able to get companies come after you. Like something happened to PHP 3 years ago. Let me say 3-4 years ago, 2-3-4 years ago, something has been happening to PHP. Everyone has been sort of bashing PHP. And you see people come up online, bash PHP. And the reason for that is not because PHP is not good. PHP solves a lot of problems. PHP is really good, but people come up with JavaScript and bashing PHP. And if if you look at it from the professional angle, you might just be like, why is JavaScript bashing PHP? It's not JavaScript bashing PHP. It's because the JavaScript community became bigger than the PHP community. So when you go online, you see more jobs, more JavaScript jobs. Even companies who don't know about tech, when they want to hire developers, even companies that are not tech companies, when they want to hire developers, the first thing that comes to their mind is the most popular tech stacks: JavaScript, PHP, Java, JavaScript, PHP, Java. That's because of the community being built around it. So, and truth be told, not everyone is going to be a Java developer. Not everyone is going to be a JavaScript developer. Not everyone is going to be a PHP developer. Some people prefer Python, prefer to use Django for their web development. Some people prefer to use JavaScript that has lots of libraries and the rest for their own web development. So whatever you love, try to build a community around it, because when you do that, it means that because when you do that, it means that I can just stay and tell myself, oh, I want to hire 5 JavaScript engineers. And the first place that might come to my mind is, Uganda has a lot of JavaScript guys. If you also take note, you would find out that countries also have different stacks. Like the most popular stack in Germany is not the most popular stack in the US. The US is where you'd see a lot of JavaScript guys. When you go to Germany, you'd see a lot of Go, you'd see a lot of Ruby, you'd see a lot of Java, you'd see mostly Java, actually. You'd see a lot of Java in Germany. When you go to Eastern Europe, you'd see a lot of these languages like Perl, like Phoenix. You'd see stacks like Rust in Eastern Europe. If you go to France also, you'd see such stacks a lot. So communities actually do that so that they can retain opportunities and harness the opportunities to the max. Because if I belong to a community of JavaScript engineers, we all can say, okay, when let's say TopTal or Turing is hiring, they know that when they come to Lagos, they get the best PHP guys. That is going to create a sort of bias with anyone who is hiring and has experience with hiring. They know that when they go here, they get the best JavaScript guys. When they come here, they get the best PHP guys. When they go there, they have the best Golang guys and the rest. But if, for example, you are in a space where everyone is doing every language, you have 100 engineers, and these 100 engineers are writing 60 different stacks, that's going to be a problem. Because first of all, the local companies there will find it difficult to maintain a stack for their infrastructure. Because if I want my company to be a JavaScript, to have a JavaScript infrastructure, it means I need JavaScript engineers. But in a case where I can't have enough JavaScript engineers, and I can't still have enough PHP engineers, I can't still have enough Go engineers, I can't have enough Ruby engineers, because all the engineers are doing different stacks. So it creates a problem. It creates a hiring problem. So sometimes companies feel like, okay, since I can't have all that I want here, let's move out. Let's get some engineers somewhere. And yes, you might be saying, no, get me, I am a good PHP engineer. I can develop distributed systems with PHP and the rest. But yeah, you won't be the only PHP guy working there. They need at least additional 25 PHP guys to work with you, but they can't get 5. So making it, giving yourself a common goal will influence what the local companies want, how the local companies will build, how the local companies will scale. And also it's going to help in giving everyone a sustainable source of income, because when a good percentage of the local companies are built on JavaScript, it means almost every JavaScript engineer in that space has a has has a good job security. And also, community makes it possible that you guys can negotiate your pay. You can negotiate your pay with community. Because I can remember in 2013, 2012 in Nigeria, yeah, I used to work with a with a company then. I was paid 120,000 naira every month. I don't know what that's in Ugandan shillings, but I think with the calculation from last, when was that? I think last year or 2 years ago. If I calculate that, so that you know how little it was really, little. Now, I think, okay, that's about 864,000 Ugandan shillings. I was paid 100 and, okay, no, that's about 900,000 Ugandan shillings. I was paid 120,000 naira every month. And I was a back-end guy. And we were about just 3 back-end guys. We were really working from 8 in the morning till sometimes 8, 9 in the night, Monday to Friday, going back and forth. Then you still get penalized if you come to work 5 minutes late. You get 5,000 naira deducted from your monthly salary if you come late. So we were really stressing. That was in 2013, 2012. Fine. The community wasn't bigger. It wasn't bigger. So at some point in 2015 and 16, things changed. We started having meetups. Then I was actually doing C++ then. So things changed. I met a Python meetup that I became interested in. So we started building. We started working towards it. I left C to Python. We started with Flask, then moved to Django. Then all of us agreed that we should really build the Django community. We started different campaigns. We started printing t-shirts, started going to schools, talking to students who would like to go into coding and the rest of them. We started teaching them Django first. So we introduced Django to them first because it's going to create a bias if they learn that first. We talked to people, sent out videos to people. So I think as of 2017, we did a meetup, and that meetup had over 300 people. We did a meetup and we had over 300 people, developers, designers, people who wanted to also learn how to develop. And all of these people were Django interested. So 2016, 2017, all of this was happening. It got to a point whereby Lagos was doing it, Abuja was doing it. There is a place called Kaduna in Nigeria. Kaduna was doing it. Kano was doing it. Before you knew what was happening, had a community of strong Python developers, a community of strong JavaScript developers, and a community of strong PHP guys. So, but the JavaScript and Python was more because I could say that, okay, let's Abuja, Kaduna, they had in total over 2,000 Django developers in that community then. For the JavaScript, it was over 2,000 also. So you had more people joining. At that point, we started to communicate with other JavaScript guys abroad. We started talking with other guys abroad. There is this guy, I've forgotten his name. He's the creator of Vue or of Vue.js. We started talking to him also. And that's how we built that connection with most of them. Then we also registered non-profit organizations that we were using for tech development. So through those non-profit organizations, these partners were also coming in and were also trying to give us grants for us to build more space because they actually want to scale. And a company cannot scale without the manpower. So if Google has their stack as Golang, like currently Google is shifting to Go very seriously, which means that in the next 3 years, in the next 4 years, Google will need a lot of Go engineers. So that was how we shifted. Before you knew it, we started getting the connection to get jobs outside the country and work remotely. Before you knew it, Andela blew up. Andela came up, Andela had some engineers, and many of the engineers were JavaScript engineers. They also had Python engineers also. Andela blew up with Python, JavaScript became huge. Companies were not able to afford to pay us that. That's how the company started to scale up, because we were telling ourselves, any company, and the whole process, the interview process, and you are offered social amount, decline. Just decline it. If you decline it, look for a different job. Try and even get a remote job. So everyone stuck to that. Everyone was like, okay, fine. We won't take below this. We won't take below that. So, and that was a community to all ourselves. If you go ahead and you take that money, fine. All of us know that, this guy, okay, fine. This girl, okay, fine. You took that money because maybe you don't know what you're doing. So it can even serve as a steal if you go ahead and you take that little money. So people started turning down jobs. People started turning down jobs. I know of this, there's a fintech company in Lagos called Unified Payments. Unified Payments. That company actually, the company builds financial systems for banks. They build financial systems for supermarkets and so many other systems. Actually, they make a whole lot of money, but they offer to pay most of their engineers like 200,000 naira. Like the most paid engineer that I was aware of in 2020 was earning 250,000 naira. That's not even up to anything some junior engineers should earn. So, but they were paying their senior engineers 250,000 naira. That was possible because when we found out that most of the engineers that were working there were I don't know how to call them, like they were engineers that always move on their own. They don't have a community, they don't have anyone to talk to. People don't know that they were software engineers. Like you can't find them in any space. Engineers. So they were taking that money and they were making it look as if it was the right money to take. So I got to talk to one of the C# engineer there, who was a senior engineer. I got to talk to him and I was like, if a company like this that turns in profits of over let's say $1 million every year, if such a company calls you guys to come and work and you guys accept to take such small pay, it means you guys are not aware of your value. Don't take that pay from these guys. Talk to the other engineers. You guys should negotiate for better pay. So he was like, they already signed a bond that they can't review the pay for a certain amount of months, and even if they have to review, it has to be within certain percentage upwards. They can't go beyond that percentage, and also they can't resign till it's about 3 years or how many years because of the bond they signed. And I was like, okay, fine. So that means you guys have made a very big mistake. Some of you guys can go to court if you want to go to court. But taking that kind of money for a company that makes such profit, me even saying they make $20 million a year in profit is even small. They make more than that, but they pay the engineers very small. Now that was possible because these engineers are on their own. Yeah, it's possible because the engineers are on their own, and if you are on your own without a community, you won't also leverage the opportunities out there in the world. It is always easier. It is always easier for a community to access foreign opportunities than for an individual to access it. When Andela came up, Andela started as a vibrant community, which they are still. They started as a vibrant community in Lagos. I can I can tell you that over 60% of the engineers who started with Andela are all sorted, working for either Google, Facebook. They are working for one of the. They are all working with a big tech company, and all of them are nothing below mid-level engineers. They are all earning very well because Andela. The moment you the moment you mention that name to any foreign recruiter and you say Andela, they'd be like, okay, yeah, we know them. We know them. Everyone knew them. So that was how it was possible for Nigerian software engineers to start having access to other foreign opportunities with all of the meetup sessions that was happening. We had lots of there was a period where we had meetup sessions every week, every day of the week, different meetup sessions, different stack. The designers are having their own meetup sessions. The product managers are having their own meetup sessions. Developers are having their own meetup sessions. They are connecting themselves. They even travel from state to state. They go on road journeys that are about 7 hours long, 12 hours long to just meet up and connect and hold a session, agree on things, pursue the things, expose themselves to opportunities. Of course, doing all of these has challenges. Everyone is not like you. Everyone is not straightforward. But that does not mean that you wouldn't meet bumps on the roads. On the road, actually, you will definitely meet bumps. But the most important thing is just the most important thing here is just keep your eyes on the prize. You want to build a community so that you can leverage it. I can assure you that if there are companies in, let's say, in Kenya or in Uganda, if there are companies in Uganda that pay software engineers little money, they are doing that because they believe the software engineers will take it. Same software engineers can decide to work with Turing, can decide to work with top coders, can decide to work with any GmbH firm out there in Germany. Those same engineers can decide to work with any of those companies and earn 20 times what the Uganda company offers. But the Uganda company knows that most of them don't know how to access those opportunities. And most of them are just on their own. But the moment the Ugandan companies know that these these engineers have options, the moment they know that these people have options, they start living up to expectation because the moment you make profit in a company, the bulk of the profits does not belong to you. The bulk of the profit belongs to the company. So it means that the people working in the company should get well taken care of. But you see, because of the lack of strong laws in Africa, you get to see some companies make a lot of profit and they pay their workers little salaries, little wages, and that's really prominent in Africa. So you see company CEOs and company stock owners wanting to go home with 48% profit, 27%. Meanwhile, you go to other advanced countries, the CEOs and the stock owners are just hoping for a 7% profit. They are hoping, not even wishing, like they are hoping that they should get a 7% profit. So I think it is in the hands of the workers. Community is like the modern day union. Yeah, that's how I just see it. Building a strong community is like having a modern day union. You use that to leverage on everything. You leverage on your pay, leverage on your opportunity, leverage on how you are being treated. You can also leverage your own stand with the government even. Yeah, you can. So, like recently in Nigeria, We've been having some little here and there with the government, the fintech sector getting policies slammed here and there. The government has been slamming policies here and there, getting shutting down some fintech companies due to some here has been happening. Fine. We just told ourselves it is easy to stay and whine. It is easy to stay and complain. It is easy to stay and say, okay, the government is doing this, is doing that. We go into action, come together, build a community around this, meet these governments. Let's know what's what. Let's know who will take this, who will take that. Let's know what we want. And so far, we are currently pushing for a bill that will support startups so that it can be passed as a law in the country. And every startup will be guided by that law. And the law is for the favor of the startup, not for the favor of the government mainly. So if that law gets passed, it means that when you get a startup and it's a startup, being a startup means that your capital base is below a certain range. When your capital base is below that range, that law will classify you as a startup. So when you are a startup, you get some incentives. There are some incentives you have. There are some levies you won't pay. Your percentage of tax will be very low. In some cases, you won't have to pay tax. So that bill is being pushed, and that bill came up as a result of me building a community around the problem that we had. So currently, if you work in Abuja or in Lagos or even in Kano and you are a senior software engineer, I am 100% sure as a senior, or not even a senior, let's say a mid-level engineer. Let's not even go far. Let's not say senior, because being a senior means you have about 6-7 years of job experience. Let's say you are a mid-level engineer with 3 years worth of experience. Being a mid-level engineer in Nigeria now, you don't earn below 700,000 naira. That's if you know what you want. You don't earn below 5, 6, 700,000. And if you are being paid 5, it is because probably there are other options, like you not coming to work at all, working from your home directly, or maybe you not taking up some benefits and you forfeit some things. That's when you can get 500. But if you go with the big guys in Lagos, we pay you up to 600,000, 700,000. The big guys in Abuja will pay you up to 600, 700. And if you're a mid-level engineer in Nigeria, I'm not sure you will want to work with the small guys, because the small guys will offer you 200, 300. And being a mid-level with a community, you have opportunities to work remotely with foreign companies. You have the opportunity to also travel out to work with any company you want to work out. You want to work with there, because you in a community means that you have connections with people who have traveled out, and when they hear that there is a role here, or there is a role in the company, it's normal. The moment you travel out and the company you work for wants any other software engineer, it is normal. It is like a tradition for you to make sure you call back home and say, come, how far? Anybody there when one work, everybody shifting, start the come. It is normal for you to do that. If you don't do that and anyone finds out, of course, you get bashed for doing that. So everyone is trying to, I know many opportunities that I have had that came from that. The moment you just take one Nigerian person there and the person just settles down and starts working, the person starts looking for an opportunity for the next, and that's how everybody that comes keeps looking for the opportunities for the next. And before you know it, the company has 25% Nigerian software developers. And before you know it, the 25% will have 2% break off and start up their own companies and bring in another 10% Nigerian software developers. You have 2 more percent break off, start up their own startup, come back to Lagos, collect funding of some money, build and have more software developers. All of this is happening because there is a community that this works around. Actually, there's a community that it works around. I think there is this startup in Nigeria called Abeg app. Abeg. I don't know if some of you know about them. They sponsored one of the Nigerian shows called Big Brother Niger. They sponsored it just this year. That startup started on Twitter, and it became big from Twitter. Like the guy just built the app, came on Twitter, he announced it, and he was part of a strong community in Lagos. So the moment he announced it, everybody in that community spoke good of the app. Like, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. The retweets became very heavy. Before you knew it, everyone offline started hearing about it. Download this and check, download this and check, I beg, I beg, I beg. Before you knew it, the app became big to this point. And just this year, they now have the social currency. They might not have enough hard cash flow to have sponsored BBN Nigeria, but they had enough social currency to put in money. They had enough social currency to attract people with money for them to be able to sponsor that show and do any other thing that they want to do. Because the moment people who have money see that this product has a good social currency, they also believe that banking on it won't be a bad idea. Because when a product has a social currency, that product tends to stay longer. Just like Twitter. Twitter doesn't make 10% of the profit that Facebook makes. Twitter doesn't make 10% of the profit that YouTube makes. Twitter doesn't make 10% of the profit that even even IG, like among all of the big social apps, Twitter makes the least profit, but Twitter has a strong social currency. And that social currency came up as a result of the community around Twitter. The community made Twitter what it is, not even the money